Hey guys, it's your girl Jessica Danielle, and I'm back with another chit chat video. Today I'm going to be talking about when your friends want to turn up, but you're not about that life anymore. So lately, a lot of my friends have been asking me to go, out to the club and different places like that, and I've just had to tell them like, no, I don't do clubs anymore. And not to sound like I'm better than the club or better than them, I just don't do that. So I'm gonna kind of give you some encouragement on how to deal with, telling your friends this if you're on your walk with God and you know that you're not supposed to be in the club. So I would say the main thing to focus on when you're dealing with your friends asking you to go to the club or places that you feel like you shouldn't be is to think about your end goal and think about why you're not going to the club. So my thing is, I feel like, God doesn't want me in the club. But, nothing good can come out of being in the club. You got to stand in line. If you're drinking and stuff, you might get too drunk. You're going to have a hangover. It's just, yeah, I'm not saying that you don't have fun at the club because
Shout out to all my truck.
get lit, all that is cool. But there comes a point in time, especially in your walk with God, that you can't be lukewarm. You have to be either hot or cold. So you have to decide, and honestly, it's a conviction. If you feel like you're not, God will convict your heart, and you will feel like, hey, I'm not supposed to be doing this anymore. Now, if you call yourself a Christian, you call yourself saved, and building a relationship with God, and you're still in the club, you haven't been convicted, and you don't feel like anything is, wrong with being in the club, then maybe you need to reevaluate, your relationship with Christ. And not judging you or saying, something is wrong with you, but that's just not a place that, you should be. And why do I say this? Because, like I said earlier, nothing good really comes out of, being in the club. Like, you can spend your time doing other stuff that's still fun, and you don't have to be in the club. I also want to say that when you have friends that are still in the world or, going to the club and stuff like that, don't look down on them. I know it's easy to say, well, I don't do that. Kind of think that you're better because, you're following what God wants you to do. But you shouldn't look at it like that. Like, these people are still your friends, regardless of if they're in the world and doing all these things. You should just say, hey, that's not for me. Invite me if you want to do other things. But, for the club, I'm just not doing that anymore. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I just tell my friends, hey, I don't go to the club anymore. And they don't really ask me anymore now that they know that I don't go. And back to the point of thinking about your end goal, I always think about like, hey, am I gonna meet my husband in the club? Most likely no. Now there's people that have found their husband in the club, but a man of God and a man that you would want that is, full of zeal and zealous for God, he's not gonna be in the club. So, you might find some other guys that are gonna give you attention for, what you're wearing and stuff. But the man of God that you want to marry, he's not going to be in the club. So that's kind of not my main motivation, but like one of the main ones that I'm like, okay, I might meet a knucklehead in the club. He's not going to do anything for me, but add more, distraction and confusion in my life. So I don't need to be there. And even if you're not like a Christian, you can still relate to this video because you might feel like you've outgrown the club, because I know some of my friends, even if they aren't going to the club because they're saved, they're not going because they just feel like they've been there and done that. Like, if you've been partying, going out or whatever since you were 18, I'm 23 now. That's a long time to be partying every weekend and having fun. Like, yeah, you had your fun during those, those years, but it comes a point in time that you feel like, okay, I need to slow down. Like, it's just not fun anymore. And that's the point that I was at too. Not only am I doing this because I'm saved, but I'm also doing it because it's just old to me. Like, I don't have fun in those places anymore. The last time I went to the club was for around my birthday, because my friend's birthday is the day before mine. and I had fun, but it's just like I've been there, done that. It's the same. It's the same thing. Like think about when you go to the club. It's the same scenario. You dance. You know try to find guys. You have fun or whatever. But it's the same thing. Nothing else really changes about the club. So I was just over it. So if you feel like you're just over it, you know, tell your friends, hey, I'm not in that space anymore. I don't want to go up and I don't want to go out and turn up, but you guys can do that or whatever, and you know, go from there. What else would I say? Oh, so another thing is, I was watching some videos by Devon Franklin and Megan Good, which I'm like obsessed with now. But Devon Franklin said something that really like sticks with me every day, and he said something like to the effect of, if my choices now affect God's best and what God has for me, then you know, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to settle for less. I'm going to settle for the best. So, well, I want the best. So basically what he's saying is your choices now affect what God kind of does in your life. Because God gives us free will. And if you don't know what free will is God already knows what we're going to decide, but he gives us the option to choose what we're going to do. If we're going to choose this path or we're going to choose that path. So if we choose to live a certain way now, God's like, okay, well, you didn't listen to me, so I'm going to give you this life. Instead of, if we would have just followed him from the beginning, our lives would have been not perfect, but we would have had plan A, the best that he could give us. So that's what I think about now. Like, if I'm out here in the club turning up and all that stuff, you know, things can happen. Things can happen, and I can make choices that are going to affect me in the long run and kind of change the plan that God has for my life. So I don't want to get knocked down to B, C, D, E plan. I want the A plan. So I'm glad that I realized that at 23, and I'm still young, because I feel like that's helpful. So if you want the best that God has for you, you just have to make some hard decisions. And I know it might feel weird, and it might feel like, not that you don't have friends anymore, but that they don't really want to hang out with you or invite you to certain places. But certain things you just have to make sacrifices for God. He made plenty of sacrifices for us. And the biggest sacrifice is he gave his son. So I feel like nothing is too big to sacrifice for God. So yeah, I mean, you might feel a little left out. You might have, you know, some feelings of you feel weird or feel like you're going to lose your friends. But if you lose your friends over situations like this, then you know that they weren't your friends to begin with. And I don't think I've necessarily lost friends. Like, I still communicate with my friends that do go to the club and stuff, and everything is cool. So I just know what I want to do with my life, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, this video was just to encourage you to, you know, stay focused in your journey and just be the best you that you can be.
If you enjoyed this video, thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.